Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 29 of Let's Play Rogue Trader, Warhammer 40k, the Astra Militarum Commander, where we have officially entered a different area of the game. And I'm actually going to have a little bit of fun by not... we're going to go walk around. I'm going to probably spend this part just doing a little bit of exploration. Son of a bitch, I knew it was over there. Rip. Oh, yes. Fuck you, game. I forgot it's not a hallway to my place. Yeah, we're going to be talking to all the companions. We're going to be essentially just going for a full look around for now. Apparently, I can act. My conjugator has. Nope, that's. Anything in the vault of mine that I should care about? Nope, but I'll put a heavy bolter in there because none of us can fucking use it. Even though I really, really want it. Bullshit. Look at that beauty. Yeah, well, we've also got like a few different cool stuff. That's a good question. Let's have a look at all of our characters. Okay, Adira leveled up. She's got 2 ranks. So let's get her willpower up. Yes, that one will do. And then we'll do... Do we have a Grand Strategist? No, we do not. I'll make her a Grand Strategist. I know I haven't looked at it, but I know that we need one, so it's worth it. Ooh. Right. Oh, that's just my fucking... Yeah. Okay, out of here we go. We've got a boatload of people to talk to, and hopefully they'll do a lot of the talking for me, because I've done a lot of talking in the last couple of parts. Henrix looks at you intently. Fuck my... Like, how did I say that? Or, you know what? I know nothing about you, Henrix. Could you tell me a little about yourself?
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
Do you remember your home planet?
I do, but I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn 3 when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the black ship.
How did you discover your abilities?
Like many psykers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great-aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great-aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too.
Sorcerer's powers are truly dangerous. I hope you have mastered your ability since then.
When I arrived on Holy Terra and was tested, I was found to be suitable material for becoming a sanctioned psyker, able to bend his curse to his own will. I can assure you that the adepts of the Astra Telepathica were right in their assessment.
Can you tell me about the black ship?
Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psykers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers. Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day.
You were sent to the Inquisition straight after training?
No. First, I was accorded the status of a psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne.
Henrik stops there, clearly not intending to elaborate. Well, let's talk about something else. How long have you served in the Inquisition?
Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space.
You've visited many worlds in your way. Fucking hell. You've visited many worlds during your service, I'll wager.
Indeed. I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terror, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the Segment's other worlds.
What duties have you been carrying out for the Inquisition?
You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you?
The interrogator returns your look and smiles, but thanks to the expression in his ice-cold eyes, the effect is rather unnerving. For someone who's been in service for decades, you certainly look young.
The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today. Gladly.
You're not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct?
Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Koronus Expanse, I have been working alone.
Wandering among the stars without friends or family or friends, don't you ever get lonely?
I rarely have the time or the opportunity to think about it.
That makes sense. When you're interrogated, that means you hold a special position in the retinue?
We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne.
Are there other acolytes in the Koronus? He narrows his eyes and releases a disappointed sigh. After several seconds of silence, you realize you will not be getting an answer.
Such as?
What can you do as a psyker?
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
Well, I must take my leave. Because you're a badass, and I really hope you can stay in my retinue. I don't know if you can, but I'm sure as shit gonna try. Alright, so there's High Factorum. We don't want to talk to him just yet. I'm gonna talk to all of my Oh, Abel's down here. Abel! The person you saved from the Electro Priest Monastery, the servant of the Omnisci who calls himself Abel Homerman, is staring intently at the conjugator's vid screen. Wires connect the sacred computing machine to augment Igmentics inside the prayerfully bowed heads of murmuring servitors. Abel looks at you. After a lengthy silence, he looks away and says stiffly, "The Omniscience knows all, comprehends all." How are you feeling, Abel? The tech priest stares intently at his feet for a while and then says in a halting voice, The running of the Binharic protocols was bogged down and dissolved in false commands. Filter has separated the correct signals from the incorrect. The running has been restored to its swiftness. Pascal speaks softly as though trying to match inflections of Abel's voice. The tech brother Abel has passed the diagnostics. The pernicious influence of sacrilegious prodigious has been completely eliminated. Statistically, most servitors of schismatics infestations are left with severe cognitive impairments. However, tech brother Abel's mind, being of a less typical nature, has not been damaged to such a great degree. Tech brother Abel, you are free from possession, are you not? I trust that you will pose no threat to my ship. Abel's voice quivers, and his eyes dart around, desperately avoiding eye contact. What was flawed has since been purged, but the shadows of the hunt linger. The cog is dismounted, and no judgment has been made. In the absence of judgment, that threat remains. Who will make the judgment? I will. Pascal places a machinandri on Abel's shoulder, and repeats, his voice heavy like a wheel, tread crushing the dirt underneath. I will make the judgment that will avert the threat. His gaze falls on you. There is no need to frighten him. What troubles him so? I assumed at first that it was caused by the shock inflicted upon his system by the schismatical attack. My tech brother's words are a sign of a deeper reason for his unease. He foresees something that threatens both him and all those around him, and thus I stand ready to face this threat. What judgment you two speak of? Only he knows, but if my tech brother fears that he might not make the right decision at the crucial moment, then I will do it for him. Why are you so concerned about him? He is not the one you were hoping to find. Answer, unknown. I am registering a kinship, but both between our identifiers and one that is more profound. Archmagos Amaranth left an imprint on all his students. It may be, then, that I see some of my mentor in tech brother Abel, and so my spirit rejoices and strive to keep him from harm. You care for him as if he was truly your younger brother. Pascal's vox rasped in a tired laugh. Tech brother Abel is harmonious, and harmony is beautiful. Is it so strange to protect, is it so strange and urge to protect beauty from the horrors of the grotesque? I will try not to give Abel any undue cause for dread. Thank you. Why do you and Pascal have the same name? Abel freezes. From his vox synth, barely audible through the static, comes a word. The name of the names is not an index to the text. The naming of the names is the text. Abel's answers can be enigmatic. His mind works differently from ours. He thinks in harmonic imagery, and notices the symmetries and proportional relationships in the world around him. Poetry would be the closest analogy to how he perceives and interacts with reality. I never imagined there could be poets among the tech priests. Pascal looks surprised. Why not? Technolunga is a rhythmical and possesses a broad semantic scope, and some of its more sonorous dialects lend themselves well to individuality and symphonic declamation. Pascal, do you understand what Abel is referring to? Negative. However, I will hypothesize. Tech brother Abel is seeking to convey the idea that our matching identifiers are not the key to some vital data point. They are in and themselves the vital data point. At this stage in my analysis, I can draw no useful conclusion from this proposition. However, the very fact that tech brother Abel is trying to hint at something points to him either being better informed than I am, or having conducted a more in-depth analysis of the situation. That is useful information. Abel, could you please explain what you mean? Abel relaxes a little, his gaze drifts to the side, there is silence. Are we overthinking it? It doesn't matter why our names are the same. What matters is that they are the same. Is that what you mean? Abel looks sideways at you, and at once his transfixed stupor is gone. At this point in time, the cycle has been broken and reshaped into a rising spiral, as Amanat envisioned. On hearing his mentor's name, Pascal lets out a raspy, static-filled sigh. They are connected. My hypothesis regarding Abel's connection to the blessed Amanat has been confirmed. So what are you working on? We catch a soul of the light in the solar wind. We look for the footstep on the Omnicide left when he walked the desert. This is the onromantic computation procedure. The depersonalized minds of these machine servants are in data stream, processing enormous arrays of assorted data and aggregating them. Virtually all results of such synthesized are scrap data, but occasionally we have noticed coincidences whose exactness defies logic. It is an extremely rare and venerated form of statistical augury, but tech brother Abel is adept at this form of appealing to the Deus Mechanicus. Let's have a look for a logical connection with the data. Most of the runes are devoid of any meaning, but you notice a few among them that combine into formulae and computational graphs. Abel peers at you inquisitively, then shifts his gaze to the vid screen, and you could swear that a smile lights up his face under his respiratory augments. A crystal is exquisitive in clear water. Deviation from the cycle's trajectory has been increased, as was Amnat's wish. Abel lowers his head, and his Vox synthesizer broadcasts a Benharic hymn you do not recall having heard before. Its sound is full of vibrant energy, and its precise rhythm is nothing short of pleasing to the ear, a rare thing for the language of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Pascal explains with an inexplicable air of pride, Tech Brother Abel has dedicated a lesser aria to you. The piece is distinguishable by a high degree of acoustic harmony, and it is fit for use as a motto, auxiliary identifier, or epitaph. Well, I thank you for the generous gift. The gift is disproportionate, but it does signify a personal affinity. So why'd you do it? It is how we execute the quest for knowledge in the hope of that the machine god grants us an epiphany, that we may discern a logical connection in a mass of absurd data, which will propel our comprehension forward. Let's inspect it. The hair has been removed from every servitor's head. The Burka's cerebral ornaments cover their skulls like helmets. The faces of the conjugated servants are blank. Their eyes are closed. Their lips are incessantly whispering what sounds like gibberish. Hundreds of lines of symbols containing information scroll down the conjugated vid screen. Abel Hanuman peers at it with a vacuous interest, in sharp contrast to his usual placidity. My interest has been exhausted. Abel goes back to intently watching the calculations, his eyes alive with curiosity. Did you hear what Abel said? It seems we have contributed to Amarant's design and deviate from the cycle. What does that mean for you? A low and guttural sound rises from the depths of Pascal's Vox synth, as though the planet's tectonic plates are shifting and crushing each other. The mighty rumble brings forth words imbued with power. We follow a path charted by a great mind, but that path leads to a dark place. The cycle has the advantage of predictability. Abandon it will plunge the collective into a perilous space of uncertainty, which will inevitably lead to disasters and the risk of universal annihilation. The doctrine of discontinuing the cycle may herald good things to come, or it may be a death sentence. Only the Omnissiah knows all, and comprehends all. Others are mere prophets who interpret his wisdom as far as their own comprehension permits. Well, I just kind of like this. Is that the promise of every heresy? Let's renounce our path, distort our doctrine, and head out towards what looks like a better future, but actually only has danger and grief in store for us? The statement is true. Many dangerous philosophies appear impeccably logical, yet have dangerous defects that their curators were unaware of. There is a doubt in the tech priest's voice. The tone of thundering profundity drains from Pascal's Vox, giving away his familiar sibilance. Well, I must take my leave. Abel immediately looks away as if he has lost all interest in you, but then his Vox crackles, barely audible. I am glad to see you. Oh, thank you, Abel. Look at Abel being all nice and shit. Alright, Pascal, it's your turn now.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Pascal, shrouded in his crimson robe, greets you with a soft sympathized voice by the Vox system. The Mechanandrite's growing out of the tech priest's back, swivel in your direction as if he's examining you with curiosity. I want to know more about the truth about you.
The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma.
The Mechanandrites coil around the tech priest's chest and shoulders as if trying to protect him. What did Amanat do?
He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith. and all humanity at the end of it.
Seems like a theological argument, not a political one.
Even those who have ascended to the Omnissiah's wisdom still bear the seed of imperfection, born of their flesh. But the ambitions of individuals mean little when we discuss ritual and belief. Knowledge is divine, and any argument as to how it must be reached is an argument of ritual and belief.
How did you betray Armanat?
The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagos Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
You acted as a loyal son of the Imperium should.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us.
Why did you go to Rykad Minoris?
I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain: we were in danger, and I had to go to Rykad Minoris.
Tech priest named Abel. Who is he?
Assessing his personality is difficult. The spirit of Brother Abel is different from that of most people. Tech comrades of the Cog call such persons quiet ones. He possesses significant intellect, but shuns communication. So far, I have not been able to determine why Abel summoned me to Rykad Minoris, how he is related to the Blessed Amanat, or why he bears the same name as me. Perhaps Reverend Abel may not be fully able to actualize and interpret the available data.
What are you going to do next?
I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagos Amanat who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
I have no more questions.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Amanat. The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Koronus Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
How did you end up in the Koronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Koronus Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why are you not with the fleet then?
After I betrayed Archmagos Amanat, the fleet conclave directed me to the orbital station, Alter Templum Calixus EXT-17, for penance. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Koronus Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the Explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors As researchers and conquerors, we are the warriors of the Code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Tell me about your mechanandrites.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
Well, you can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
What do you mean guarded? It's not buried treasure, it's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of the Xenos. This bane is called Xenotech.
Sacred objects should be touched only by worthy hands.
This statement is true. What many consider chains on our way to comprehension is our armor, which we have inherited from our wisdom-blessed predecessors.
You hold a high position in your fraternity?
This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
Pascal exposes wrist. The glowing green threads of an electric tattoo run under the pale skin that has a long-forgotten taste of sunlight. What is the Omnissiah, is in your understanding?
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace.
What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicum's enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentations?
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline. but you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
An interesting superstition.
Not a superstition, a gracious truth.
You have a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentation, or does your faith dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
Well, I have no more questions.
Acknowledged.
I must take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
I agree. But unfortunately, guys, for now, we're going to have to end this part here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, please do follow me on YouTube. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a share. But most importantly, guys, stay safe. Have a great day. Join the channel memberships if you're interested. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys then.